It goes without saying that art is very powerful. It can bring people to tears and make them feel joy and much more. But can pieces of art actually be haunted? In many cases around the world and throughout history, art is rumored to be haunted by the figures within them. Whether just a feeling people get when around the painting, or actual eerie events occurring in the surroundings. Haunted paintings can cause havoc in many ways. Hello everyone and welcome to Creepshow. And today I present to you 6 of the most haunted paintings of all time. There is no doubt this painting is disturbing. This painting was created by artist Bill Stoneham in 1972. It depicts a young boy and a female doll standing in front of a glass paneled door, against which many hands are pressed. According to Stoneham, the boy is based on the photograph of himself at age 5. The doorway is a representation of the dividing line between the waking world and the world of fantasy and impossibilities, while the doll is a guide that will escort the boy through it. The hands represent alternate lives or possibilities. The painting became the subject of an urban legend and a viral meme in February 2000, when it was posted for sale on eBay along with a description implying that it was haunted. According to the seller, the aforementioned couple, the painting carried some form of curse. The eBay description made a series of claims, and some of those claims were that the characters in the painting moved during the night, and that they would sometimes leave the painting and enter the room in which it was being displayed. And also included with the listing were a series of photographs that were said to be the evidence of an incident in which the female character threatened the male character with that she was holding, causing him to attempt to leave the painting. A disclaimer was included with the listing absolving the seller from all liability if the painting was purchased. News of the listing was quickly spread by internet users who forwarded the link to friends. Some people claim that simply viewing the photos of the painting made them feel ill and have unpleasant experiences. Eventually, the auction page was viewed over 30,000 times. After an initial bid of $199, the painting eventually received 30 bids and sold for $1,025. The Buyer Perception Gallery in Grand Rapids, Michigan eventually contacted Bill Stoneham and related the unusual story of its auction eBay and their acquisition of it. He reported being quite surprised by all the stories to the painting. According to the artist, the object presumed by the eBay sellers to be is actually nothing more than a dry cell battery and a tangle of wires. Stoneham recalls that both the owner of the gallery in which the painting was first displayed and the art critic who reviewed it died within 1 year of coming into contact with the painting. The painting depicts a deathbed scene. In the background, a dead woman with a ghostly white skin lies on a bed while adults in dark clothes, presumably mourners or family members, cluster around her. However, the child in the foreground is the most memorable part of the piece. This little girl stands with her hands over her ears and an expression of abject horror on her face. It is clear that the child is in a state of profound shock and grief. The dead mother expresses total devastation verging on madness. Although there are living adults in the room, the child is alone in her pain, standing isolated in the foreground. The idea of the dead mother is one that the artist Munch returned to many times throughout his artistic life. In fact, this painting is so disconcerting that some viewers actually believed it's haunted. Proponents of this idea cite the fact that the child's eyes actually follow the viewer as they move. However, this is actually caused by a very common painting technique. Most scholars agree that the child in the foreground represents Munch's own psychological anguish. The compositional choice might reflect Munch's isolated and lonely childhood, or the lack of emotional support that he received from his father. However, while the painting is grounded in personal pain, the dead mother also represents the far most universal tragedy of grief and the loss of childhood innocence. The Nightmare is a 1781 oil painting by Swiss artist Henry Fuseli. The figure that sits upon the woman's chest is often described as a nymph or an incubus. a type of spirit said to lie atop people in their sleep, making them feel immovable. Fuseli's painting is suggestive but not explicit, leaving open the possibility that the woman is simply dreaming. Yet her dream appears to take frightening physical form in the shapes of the incubus and the horse. The spirit on the woman's chest was also defined as Mara or Mara, a spirit that in Hithan mythology was related to torment or suffocate sleepers. A morbid oppression in the night, resembling the pressure of weight upon the chest. Fuseli's painting may in fact be understood as embodying the physical experience of chest pressure felt during a dream state. As the story goes, Tillette felt something strange happening in 6 months before painting it. It was in 1996 when she first started noticing flashes of light in the corner of her eye. She turned around and looked, and nothing would be there. But she felt something watching, always. Allegedly one day, this artist felt something guide her hand. Far from being unmoved by the muse, she felt sure it was the thing that was watching her, imploring the tendons in her hand to flex and stiffen until she was left with a completed, wearing woman. Some sources claim that it took her 5 to 6 hours. Either way, it seemed like a ghost was inhibiting Tillette like an oil painting puppeteer. Later on, she went on to put it up for sale at a local art shop, where it was brought and properly returned time and time again. But what happens next will give you goosebumps. Once the painting was brought into the target's home, targets will be the subject to activity and experiences including sleeplessness, nightmares, general misfortune, conflicts with others living within the same home, and the feeling of constantly being watched. One young man thought the painting would look great in his living room, but soon regretted his decision and returned it back to the artist. He was willing to pay half the purchase price just to get rid of the painting. He claimed that the woman in the painting haunted him, appearing to him every night in dreams, and following him like a shadow. In the mid-2000s, the Rain Woman painting stood without a frame, in the same salon in Venezia, and cost $500. The Love Letters painting, dubbed one of the most haunted paintings in the world, and is most known for its history connected to Austin's Driscoll Hotel. The Driscoll Hotel in Austin, Texas has a rich history. Throughout its time in operation, it has hosted presidents, rock stars, and all manner of prominent guests. There are also claims that the Driscoll Hotel may have one permanent guest in the form of a ghostly little girl, but it's not a room she is said to haunt, but a painting. The painting in question is a modern replication of Charles Trevor Garland's Love Letters, done by Richard King. The painting shows a little girl with a bouquet of flowers in one hand, and a love letter in the other. The story goes that a young girl of 4 named Samantha Houston chased her ball down the grand stairs and tripped and fell to her death. People think that this painting was then hung up on the 5th floor of the hotel as a tribute to her, but it seems to be that it's not even her in the picture, but people seem to believe that she haunts the painting. When this picture was hung up on the 5th floor of the hotel, people reported feeling dizzy around the painting, nauseous and having strange sensations like being lifted off the ground. Others have said that the girl in the painting has tried to communicate with the guests, and her expression changes. If any painting were to be haunted by a malevolent spirit, one created by a serial killer, John Wayne Gacy was one of the worst serial killers in American history. Known as the Killer Clown, due to the fact that he performed as Pogo the Clown during the day. At night, however, he prowled the streets of Chicago and murdered young men. Gacy also created a series of paintings, ranging from images of Walt Disney's 7 Dwarfs and portraits of Elvis, to landscapes and illustrations of our Lord Jesus Christ. But none are as eerily terrifying as Gacy's self-portrait, Pogo the Clown, which depicts him in his daytime clown costume. The paranormally inclined of course believe that the spirits of particularly evil individuals can attach themselves to their belongings. In that case, the Pogo the Clown painting certainly seems to fit this video. For this potentially haunted object, in 2001 musician Nicky Stone purchased Pogo the Clown for $3,000. Not long after the sale, however, Stone said his dog died and his mother was diagnosed with cancer, events he believed connected to the painting. Hoping to get rid of it, Stone lent the painting to a friend to store it. Later on, Stone's friend's neighbor would be killed in a car crash soon. He would soon say, "I just want to get rid of it," Stone said of Pogo the Clown in 2005. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. This was Creepshow, and I wish you all a good scare.